Griff Hamlin here from Blues Guitar Unleashed. Welcome and thanks for joining me today in this probably fairly short little video. I want to answer a question, and I thought this was a really great question regarding soloing in the key of E. And soloing in the key of E can seem a little bit awkward, and here's why. And the question had to do with the fact that you kind of, we usually use, I'll say, box 1 of the minor pentatonic scale. And for some people, I know for me, when I was learning, playing that in open position is a little weird. It's the open, the third, open second, open second, open second, open third, open third. And so if you're used to playing in box 1, you have that option, which can feel a little bit strange, or you have to go way up here to the 12th fret. 12 and 15, 12, 15, 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 15, 12, 15. And so a lot of times, you don't want to like start your solo right away on the top half of the neck, right? Nor do you necessarily want to play in the basement. Not that there's not some cool licks down there, and in particular, if you want to check out some cool open position licks, something like Pride and Joy by Stevie Ray Vaughan is a really great place. There's a lot of great open position licks in there. But aside from that, that may not feel comfortable. It may not be the sound that you want. A lot of times the sweetest, I'll say, area of the fretboard is more in the middle. And that's kind of where a lot of us like to hang. So what do you do? And this is a perfect, you've probably heard me say a musical problem. This is a perfect musical problem to try and solve, which is why I wanted to kind of lead you through this process, okay? So if I'm thinking that I want to be in this general fretboard area, say here there's an E at the 9th fret of the 3rd string, okay? And if I put my 3rd finger there, how am I going to play the minor blues scale there, or the minor pentatonic scale there, assuming that's the scale that I want? Okay, and I'm just going to do minor. Major will obviously be a similar process, but for major. So if I know that that's where I want to end up, right, how am I going to find it? Well, I know that the open string is where box 1 starts. And you may have seen me do this where I just kind of count through the boxes. So if I know that the box 1 would start at the low E, that means box 2 would start at the G because they connect. So wherever the upper note of one box is, that's the lower note of the next box. So I'm going to remember that I'm looking for this 9th fret G here. So here's the start of box 2, and the next note on that string in box 2 is there. So that's the start of box 3, and the next note in box 3 is here at the 7th fret, so that's the next note of that's the first note of box 4. So since this E at the 9th fret of the 3rd string is kind of where I want to hang out, I can see that my box pattern for this area is going to be this box 4. And if you don't know box 4, starting at the 7th fret of the 6th string, it's 7, 10, 7, 10, 7, 9, 7, 9, 8, 10, 7, 10. But notice that it has that 9th fret of the 3rd string that I was looking for, and also my root on the 5th string, the E there at the 7th fret. I have some bends. The bend at the upper note of the 2nd string, the 10th fret, works well. The note at the upper, the 10th fret of the 1st string bends up to the root. So that's also a great bend. Okay, I can also do kind of the, I'll say, extension, which is kind of cool. You may know from box 1, let's say if we're doing box 1, you may know the trick where on the 5th string you slide. Instead of going, so if I'm in E, 15, 12, 15, 12, 14, 12, 14, 12, 14, and then I'm going to slide to 12, okay, and then I get 10, 12, and 10. So I get 12. So it kind of puts me into the lower end of box 5. And then on the upper end, when I get to the 14th fret on the 3rd string, I slide up to the from the 14 to the 16, and then I have my 13 and 15 on the top 2 strings. So I have a little bit of box 2 there. And that's a concept. Some people call it extending the pentatonic scale or the pentatonic extension. And I've spoken about it and called it that in other videos. So you can definitely search that out if that's not something that you're familiar with. But what's cool about it is that I can do it from box 4. So if I start at the 9th fret of the 3rd string, go down to the 3rd, go down to the 7th, and then when I go down to the 9th fret on the 4th string, I can slide down, instead of using my first finger, I can slide down to the 7th fret. And now I'm kind of in box 3. So there's the 5th fret on the 4th string, 7, that root again on the 5th string, and the 5th, and back to the 7th. So if you prefer that, same notes, just a different fingering. And also from here, if I go up, so I'm at the 9th fret on the 3rd string, and I go to the 8th and the 10th on the 2nd, I can slide up to the 12th fret on the 2nd, and then I'm right up at the top. There's the 10 and the 12 on the top string. And now, that's home base. That's box 1. Right, if I find that. And you might recognize that from songs like Going Down by Freddie King. That same move. That move is used a lot. Different key for the Freddie King song, but you get the idea. It's a great move, and it allows you to kind of play in the key of E, but you don't have to use either the open, which again might not be that comfortable, or way up at the 12th fret, which is, that may not be, you probably don't want to start your solo way up there on the high squeaky frets, because you want to give yourself some place to go. So that's really all I have for you today. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you get some ideas. Put on a jam track in the key of E. Try it out a little bit. Try some box 3 and some box 4. Try shuffling things around like that. It's a great way to sort of expand your knowledge of the fretboard and get more comfortable in those boxes 3 and 4 that we kind of tend to neglect. So it's a good chance to to try some of those out a little bit and see what you can come up with, okay? So as always, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the Blues Guitar Unleashed channel. If you're on the Facebooks, be sure to follow Blues Guitar Unleashed on Facebook, and I will see you soon. Take care.